Our film starts with a couple running down the street being chased by vampires. They end up in a house filled with zombies. Then the vampires come in and attack the zombies. Everyone fights until they see a UFO. You see, this is one of those protagonists is the narrator telling the story of what happened, but only realizes part way through that he should probably explain what led to whatever is happening on screen, cliché films. So the film starts the day before. We're in a reality where zombies and vampires go to school with humans. The narrator gets off the bus, talking about the girl he has a crush on, Lorelei, aka the one he was running with in the beginning scene, and his buddy tries to convince him that the only reason she even talks to him is because he hides her weed for her, but he's in total denial even though she completely ignores him when he tries to speak to her in the hallway. We next see a girl being seduced by a vampire, making sure she's going to appear at a party later, while at the same time a kid trying to get into his locker gets bullied. We then see the bullied kid unsuccessfully attempt to get his grade changed by his really crazy high-strung vampire teacher, who admits to failing him because it was fun. We also get another side story where the guy who basically owns the town because he runs the local riblet factory is a total pompous jerk who fired and replaced his workers with cheap zombie labor. Also, the bullied kid is the outcast of a family that cares more about his bullied brother's high school baseball career than his grades, especially after the narrator beams him in the face with a baseball. Fast forward to the vampire party, and the girl Petra gets mad at the vampire for biting her because he thought he wanted to have sex with her. He then guilts her using a knockoff Twilight speech to allow him to continue. Back at the narrator kid Dag's place, Lorelei is with him, getting high and being flirty, while also lying about saving herself when he tries to flirt back, even though the vampire who bit Petra admitted he slept with her already. The bully kid Ned runs away from his family and heads to the zombie neighborhood and has a talk with one of the zombie girls from school. He's amazed that the zombie seems to feel no emotion when they're bullied, and he tricks the girl into biting him by claiming there are brains in his foot. Meanwhile, Petra wakes up the day after the party with no messages from her vampire and a nasty looking wound on her neck. After she throws up, she realizes her reflection is gone and that she is now a vampire, which makes her sad, basically playing off getting turned into a vampire the same as accidentally getting pregnant. While all three protagonists deal with their personal problems, i.e. becoming a zombie, a vampire, and one guy just getting turned down by the girl he likes, that's when we see the aliens arrive. All the different factions have a meeting about the incident, with all the meetings evolving into basically each faction believing one of the other factions sent the aliens to destroy them, starting a civil war between them. Well, all but the zombies, who have no clue what's going on, and Ned, who has yet to fully turn, convinces them to revolt, hilariously finding out that they were never actually locked in to begin with, they were just too dumb to know how to work the gate. This leads to the town becoming an all-out war zone. Dad gets in his car to escape just to find Lorelei getting high. She offers to have sex with him, so he forgets the whole end of the world thing to instead go try to have sex. Back at the school, Petra confronts the vampire about why he's been avoiding her. He basically tells her he just used her for her blood and swatted her like a fly. Unfortunately for Dag, the battle gets into his house just as Lorelei got down to her underwear, so he doesn't get any. As they run off, Petra sees Dag and Lorelei running down the street. That sends Petra in a rage, who then follows them into a house of zombies. As the battle goes into the house, Petra finds Lorelei, pounces her, and feeds on her. Eventually, the only ones left alive from the battle in the house ends up being Lorelei, Ned, and Dag. Before they can fight, they witness the aliens capturing the remaining townspeople and decide their safety is more important than their prejudices. Dag tries to get into the homeowner's secret compartment, but her and her weird son are already down there and refuse to let them in. He eventually gets let in when he admitted to pooping his pants at a piano recital when he was little. As Dag goes to lock the trap door, Ned and Petra feed on the family, then act like Dag shouldn't be upset about it since that was in the past. As they sit in the basement, we all find out that they have a past together. Petra has some deep-rooted guy issues and complains about a middle school incident where people thought that Dag touched her boob in a closet, and Ned and Dag were once best friends in middle school before he joined the baseball team. So basically, this is a story about kids moving in different directions to different cliques as they get older. Eventually, they realize that two of the beings in the basement require eating the third to live, so they have to devise a plan to get out. They break out of the storm cellar where Dag has to put his clothes on Petra, and they end up getting split, with the aliens almost getting a naked Dag and Petra and Ned making it to the school. Eventually, Dag shows up and explains that the aliens avoided him as they couldn't see him. And now smarter Ned, who apparently gets more intelligent as long as he doesn't eat brains, explains that the aliens can only see organic matter, so him being naked saved his life. After a spat with Ned, Dag decides to head down to be alone. Petra finds him and joins him and tries to make peace with him and explains to him why she went after Lorelei. They end up making out as both admit that they're virgins, and Dag finishes before their clothes even come off. Petra, not caring, keeps going anyway, and it goes south when Dag worries that she might have bitten him, upsetting her. Ned mocks him for screwing up again. Petra then decides that they should walk around naked to prevent the aliens from seeing them, which is fine until it starts raining. They finally make it to Dag's house, but his parents aren't there, but they do find an alien who grabs and takes Ned. We then get another sulking session, now that they think Ned is dead, where Dag gets super guilty about abandoning him. That's when Ned shows up and explains he was warped somewhere but didn't make it because they killed the alien before it could happen. Ned then explains the aliens were there for the riblets, so they head to the riblet factory. After getting in by Dag admitting to pooping himself somewhere else, they try to explain to the owner that the aliens were after the fake meat. They try to use the "if you do it, you'll be a hero and get a statue" angle, but it doesn't work as Rick, the owner, is not too fond of the citizens anyway. Then, to make matters worse, Ned eats Rick's secretary, who he was sleeping with, which gets them kicked out. Dag has a plan to get themselves captured, and when he does, they find out all the city's groups have been divided into different holding areas. Petra gets revenge on the vampire that turned her, Ned and his family have a heart-to-heart, sort of, since it's all moaning and they're all zombies now, and Dag is reunited with his parents and eventually Lorelei, who is now a vampire. Petra ends up apologizing to Lorelei, who has no hard feelings because she realizes she's now hotter as a vampire, and I agree.
No, don't apologize. I mean, look at my tits. They're like twice the size now.
Anyway, the three protagonists reunite and try to convince Ned to figure out how to get them out. Ned tries to tell them his plan, but has had too many brains, so it sounds like moans, but Dag eventually figures it out. All the townspeople then start to argue again at the kids working together, but Dag eventually gives a rah-rah speech that leads to them chanting USA and getting on board. The plan ends up being overloading the server, so they all run toward the force field holding them at the same time, which shuts it down. As the town heads to the riblet factory, Nick the owner defends it with a rifle. They convince him to change his mind by feeding his ego and chanting his name, and he eventually lets them in. After the town is disgusted by seeing the mush that their food is made of, the aliens surround the riblet and in a pretty funny twist end up being tiny super intelligent glowing worm things, who then merge and then try to explain that they were just trying to help them all make peace, but everyone just attacked. As he's talking, Petra and eventually the rest of the townspeople get offended by getting lectured and again attack it, leading to it fighting back. In the ruckus, they figure out that ammonia hurts the aliens, so they band together and spray with ammonia. As that's happening, the vampire who turned Petra attacks her. Dag, seeing what's going on, remembers what Petra said earlier about not hesitating when you care about someone and attacks him, but is eventually killed. That's when we see the full moon come out and Dag transform into a wolf. Wolf Dag ends up killing Milan while the alien is chased off. When the alien gets into its saucer, it drops some type of bomb, which Ned catches and Dag throws back, blowing up the flying saucer. The film ends with back at school, Lorelei actually wanting to hang out with Dag, but him turning her down as him and Petra are not a thing, and Ned and his brother hanging out together now that they are both zombies. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube along with download options. Link is in the description.